Welcome back, my gardening friends. Well, my Stuttgarter and Red Baron onions would like to go out now. Just going to tease them out, just using something that'll go through the holes in the bottom. Where the Golden Gourmet shallots haven't taken, I'm just going to fill the gaps in. I'm not going to press down because I don't want to spoil the soil structure, so we'll just pull it to one side. Just tease them out nice and gently with minimal root disturbance. Hopefully they've grown enough not for the birds to think they're worms and fetch them out, but I'm just hopeful that they don't, but we could just keep an eye on them. And I can get my hand-eye coordination going. But I would imagine they just want to be slightly bigger than that, but not big enough so that the roots are completely, as they call, pot bound. So we're just going to leave it there, not pressing it down. Just make sure the roots got good contact with the soil. And we're away. And I'll be planting these all over. My growing spaces in case the allium leaf miner decides to pay me a visit. I'm doing leeks for the first time this year. Not done them for a while, well, probably 9 years. They only ever seem to attack my leeks so I stopped growing them because the leaf miner goes into the ground, and then even if you plant the onions so many years later, they can smell the onion and they just emerge. They can stay there for absolutely years, the little devils. That's why I use the garlic wash, where I put the garlic into bottles and then I put it on when there's no onions about. The spores come out and attack, or what they think is an onion, but there isn't an onion. But because they've emerged and they haven't found nothing, they die. We say hopefully, but of course nature always finds a way. Some nice onion sets there. I think they were about £2.99 for 50, and we got 50 of each. Now some people will say, oh well, I'll grow onions, but they always go to seed. Well, as soon as these go to seed, especially the red ones, I'll harvest them. Doesn't matter what size. I don't keep them all to the end. I use them all year round. You only lose a bit in the middle. So I don't worry too much. I might grow more onions from seed once I've got my new potting shed. I'm getting excited, guys. It's going to be more for next year, obviously, but with what I've done so far with the IKEA shelves and the little tents that they can come with if you buy them separately, have done me proud. And of course I've treated myself after all this time to some proper cell trays with little lights and heat mats. But after gardening for 14 years on a budget, as many of you have said, I deserve it. Right, I'll get some more of these planted here, then I'm going to put some elsewhere once I fill this up. I'll just show you the Golden Gourmet. Oh, come on. I read the wrong label. The shallots. These are, I think, maybe Red Florence or Zabroon. They were in the vegetable tray at home. And I thought, well, if I plant these, I might be able to get the seed from them. But they'll split. So if you plant the actual big shallot themselves, then you can probably get up to about 6 or 7. Then I can save all of those and end up with some more, because the seeds that I've sown, my save seed from a few years ago, aren't viable. I will try some more again, but I'll start with 3, then I might end up with 15. Then another year I'll end up with 45, then I can start eating them again. Pause and record. Right, last one. So even though some of those onion sets hadn't got any growth on, they've still got a good root system. As you can see there, there's plenty of nice roots, not confined to one space, but I like to just pop them in and then press some soil down, and then that actually firms it up completely. We don't want any roots showing. And then we just need to tickle the top. Now, most of us know, but any new gardeners out there, look how close the roots are to where the surface would be. So anybody that's tempted to use any type of digging tool to weed around your onions, you're better off using the tool that we've all got, and that's just to tickle them around and just pull any weeds out, but pull the weeds out when they're really small, like we did earlier. That's all the white Stuttgarter planted. I've got 2 spare small ones, so I popped them in between the others. That won't hurt. This pallet collar had white clover as a green manure, chopped and dropped what was left of it, and then covered with cardboard, and stopped some of those weeds from growing. But be truthful, it looks like white clover. White clover is better planted in the spring, so it thinks it's time to grow. So it may become an issue, but weed regularly won't be a problem. After I've give it a little tickle with my fingers, add some bone meal, because the green manure didn't perform that well. Adding my homemade compost, just to top the beds up. As we all know, organic materials get taken up by our plants, etc., and they decompose. Is that the right word, he says? I don't care, you know what I mean. Every year I top these beds up, and I'll probably put 20 litres on there. That's about £3 saved. There'll be weed seeds in that and all sorts. We don't care. It's free. I don't get the plastic and bits of rubbish that you do when you buy your compost. Right, time for the Red Baron. A little bit of setting out, and I'm going to pop 40 in that small space. Does it really matter? If I feed the soil, not the plants, he says. And I'm not worried about getting massive onions. Well, doesn't that look pretty? I think like having a full bed and a little bit of therapeutic weeding. Weeding becomes enjoyable when all you've got to do is pull them out. I've got a few spaces here for the last few. Quite random. Hopefully 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh no! Oh, we've got space over here. I'll definitely be able to tell the difference between the walking onions and my red baron that he's planted. And don't panic if you've got no top, but it's all bottom. Ooh, a stone. In my stone bucket. Then we can just give it a little tickle. We all like to have a little tickle in the beds. Just disturbs the weeds. And of course we don't want to disturb the soil too much because that will bring the weed seeds to the surface. So to finish off, I want to just plant a few radishes. So we'll uncover the bed. This had winter tares and white clover as a green manure. So I'm just going to cover it over now to cover those weed, well, the clover seeds probably. White clover. So because I'm a lazy gardener, here's my radish seeds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split it in half. Well, in actual fact, there's no seeds that side. So the seeds are in there, probably 4 to a casing. Make sure you can see. We create a drill. You notice I use my fingers quite a lot. Now this, oops, there's a seed going to drop out there, so we'll always know it's still in. I'm just going to place it in like that. If they are fiddly, why mess with them? That's how nature would do it, they just drop on the floor. Now all I do is just tickle them in, but obviously a bit more difficult to do. So for my successional sowing, I'll go and find my radish seed that I'm not sure whether it's viable or not now. Hang on, there's another bag there. So does it date? No, it doesn't. Hasn't given me a date. Sparkler 3 that will sow thinly. We don't thin them out. We take the big ones and then the little ones grow in between as we go, as he pours so many into one spot. And again, it's a bit easier when there's just a few seeds to cover. First time I've only just thought about doing that because I didn't look forward to actually getting them all out. But if that row comes up and that row or if that row doesn't come up and that does, then I know that I can start planting those. If these don't come up, I can throw them away. I must try that bag as well. But this is the little box that I keep at the allotment for the successional sowing, etc. All sorts of different radish seeds that I've had sent me. People get a lot of seeds with the magazines, and Oh, that's a good planting area. But yes, that'd probably be a decent idea if they grow. Must remember to put some labels there. And I almost forgot. Just need to cover them up with these plastic sheets. Quite thick material. I've managed to cut them all now out of those big bits into these sizes. I've got a few smaller ones for the loft water tanks. That'll just keep the moisture in, keep the cold off, warm the soil up, and hopefully some nice radishes very soon. And then I'll continue every 2 weeks. Probably have too many. Better to have too many than none at all. Nature always finds a way. So we're in the first week of March. I'm going to be taking my greenhouse down soon, so I'm trying to get rid of bits and bobs. I won't be able to do as well as I normally do, but you never know. If we get some warmer weather in March, I can start planting out anyway. But we don't have to worry. Our plants will grow when they're ready, not when we are. So just ensure you harden any plants off before you put them out. I haven't sowed tomatoes yet. I won't sow tomatoes for a while. They'll always catch up. But if you've liked the content, please give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. What a beautiful morning it is. The birds are singing. 3 days without rain. I need to open all the beds up so they can breathe. And please leave me a comment on any subject you like, whatever you're up to. I'm always interested because it reminds me to do it. I've sowed my leeks, my silver skin onions, my eating celery, but it's all go. But we don't have to panic. Please consider subscribing, help if you can. And remember, those comments are so important. We learn so much from the comments that we can all learn from. I'll just bumble along and try out new things, and I'm glad to have you on my journey. Happy gardening to you all. Till next time, my friends. Ta-ra for now. Don't forget the end screens.